All right, welcome back. Well, many of us played hopscotch when we were kids. Listen, I did. But have you ever heard of a varsity hopscotch team? Well, two South Florida high school students have taken that lighthearted idea and used it to help a very serious cause in finding a cure for multiple sclerosis. They've set up a foundation called Hopping for a Cure, and they're gearing up for their second annual MS Hopscotch Tournament. Now, joining me now to the show this morning, David Nassau and Gary Wexler. They're the creators of Hopping for a Cure and the organizers of the second annual MS Hopscotch Tournament at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you.
And you guys, I tell you, last year you're back on again, and it's still around. So that goes to show that you guys are staying with it. For all those who did not see the segment last year, let's talk a little bit more about it and how it all started. How did this all come about?
It all started from a TV show that we both like to watch called How I Met Your Mother. Actually, it's on CBS on Channel 4. And I introduced it to my friend Gary Wexler a few years later, saying, you guys have to check this out. You guys would love the show. And this is something that happened. And then when I came across an event on Facebook, I told my friend Gary, after a few months of watching the show already, one of Barney Stinson's famous lines is to suit up. And there was International Suit Up Day. So that day to school, both Gary and I wore suits, and on the way from walking from the parking lot into the school, we were talking about what we can do. And we didn't want to say, hey, we suited up because of a TV show, because we didn't want to sound like one of those kids.
No,
yeah.
You didn't want to do that,
so we went around and we were telling kids, we were like, oh man, what should we do? And we were like, oh, you know, it'd be funny. Like, we're two funny kids, so we were like, we'll tell everyone we're on the varsity hopscotch team. So first hour came, we're talking to kids, we're like, oh yeah, varsity hopscotch, we have our first meet today, so you know, we're dressed in suits to look nice for the first meet. And then like, everybody, like the second we said that, they were like, oh my God, that's awesome, you know, like.
So it stuck?
Yeah, it stuck.
Yeah. It actually stuck.
And not only did it stuck, it like grew, like kids were like loving it. They were like, how do I try out? How do I try out?
No way.
Yeah, people were asking us, how do you play? And so the whole day at school, we were trying to meet each other in between classes, saying, okay, I said this, trying to keep our stories straight.
Yeah, we were telling kids.
And wow, and it grew from there.
Yeah, and
it grew from there.
And originally, when we first thought, we were going to try to make like a club at Douglas, it's like a hopscotch club.
Okay.
And then the administrator shot it down immediately. And we're like, oh man, but this is still really good, really funny, how can we do it? So we decided to do it for a good cause, for multiple sclerosis because of his dad. And we decided to, you know, make a tournament out of it. That would be actually a lot of fun to play.
Wow, and David, your dad, and last year was the first event, the fundraising event for MS, and your dad, I remember your dad was here as well. Yeah. How is your dad doing in battling multiple sclerosis?
Yes, my dad battling multiple sclerosis, his version, I'd say version, because MS affects people in different ways. His is more cognitive, meaning it affects his brain and his memory, as opposed to some people who I've met with MS have been paralyzed in a wheelchair. They can't walk, they can't do certain daily functions that my dad is able to do. However, my dad has trouble with his memory,
yeah.
And he has trouble walking and talking at times. And he has his relapses, which is a common thing for most MS patients who have relapsing remitting MS. And we think that since last time, it may have progressed to secondary progressive multiple sclerosis. And but for me, I won't be able to notice as big of a difference because I live with it every day, as opposed to someone like yourself who may not have seen him in a certain time, like a span of time.
But then see him later and
yes.
then notice the changes that have
Correct.
occurred because of MS. And how big was the event last year, and what is the goal this year?
Last year was real big. Last year we raised $6,000 in like 2.5, 3 months time. Wow. A lot of sponsors. We had about 60 kids show up to the event. It was at Marjory Stoneman Douglas last year too.
So you have to beat that number.
Oh yeah, we're gonna beat it too.
You're gonna beat it.
We're thinking 10,000. We're thinking 10,000 this year at least.
That is great. What about other schools? And what has been the response from classmates out there who hear about this hopscotch tournament? He's a high school student. Is this a fun thing? Is this looked at as something that nerds or geeks do, or is this looked at as a kind of a hip thing?
Well, since last year, again, the word got out, and even the people that didn't go last year, the people that went, were able to tell them about how much fun they did have. And this year, we actually wanted to involve the students. Last year, it was just Gary and I planning most of it, along with the help of our parents. And this year, we were able to organize meetings at a restaurant nearby the school to get people to go right after school. And we've had a consistent 20 to 30 people come to almost every meeting. And again, those are teenagers and kids our age.
Yeah, and a lot of those kids are underclassmen, so when we graduate this year, we still have like the freshmen and sophomores that come that can do it, you know, through their high school career and learn to pass it down. We're passing down a whole organization through Douglas to these kids.
And we also have kids that are joining us from other schools, which is a big thing because we are looking to expand and not only have this take place at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, but expand to hopefully other schools in Broward County and the Tri-County area, and maybe end in mind.
Wow.
It could be a national thing.
Okay, well, let's get right to it. Let's get right to it, okay? This is happening. This is the second annual MS Hopscotch Tournament, all for great cause. It's happening Thursday, January 19th, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, and that's located at 5901 Pine Island Road. And for more information, you do have a website, mshopscotch.org?
Yes, that's correct.
So that has all the information.
That is everything.
Now, you mean anybody can do this? Anybody can do this. I mean, it's not just for the high school students there at Parkland. No, anybody. You're telling everybody to come out.
All high schoolers.
All high schoolers,
all adults, all kids, elementary school
Senior
students.
citizens, if you're still feeling good.
Even what we're doing in one of our events this year, it's called Extreme Hopscotch, which is going to be really fun. It's an obstacle course relay race, and we're reserving a spot for all of our teams of 3 to 5 people that participate. But we're reserving a portion of that event for patients actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis to actually come and be present at the event. And we don't really want to tell a lot about the surprises that we have in store for that specific event.
There are some surprises.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I love it. And the shirts, what do the shirts say here?
Yes, it says that we hopscotch for AMS cure. And these shirts originated from that one day we went to school and we want to make it a club. We went home to my house and we went online and just started customizing a shirt, which ended up being the hopscotch grid.
Okay,
and
I love it. You have one here?
Yes, this one is yours.
This is mine right here. All right.
Wear it proudly.
This is mine. I will wear it proudly. Call me a geek, call me whatever you want to, because I did hopscotch as well. I love what you guys are doing, and you guys are some young men doing some pretty big things. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We wish you guys the best. I'll take this shirt. I'll take this shirt right here. I love it. I'm going to rep my shirt right here.